Hey guys, welcome to ShiftNSmiles. So today is very different. As you guys probably already noticed that I'm in a car and not on a motorcycle. So today does feel very weird, absolutely. I do drive in cars and not a motorcycle all the time for some of you that may think so. But I wanted to get on here today to kind of show you guys what I have, coming up for the channel over the next couple weeks and probably the next couple months. Is that what I like to do, and some of you that are close to me know this, that I actually like to plan cross-country trips. I've been doing it for the past 2 years, going on 3 years right now, and it's just something that I love to do, something that, I'm glad that I kind of have the affordability to do so with work and, somewhat financially as well, is that I just go and travel anywhere around the country for about 2 weeks. And what I like about it is that I kind of, get to experience the world, what I refer to as our backyard, being that we live in the US, that I get to experience it and probably go to places that I probably otherwise would not even go to or even think about going. So this gives me an opportunity of 2 weeks to just to travel around the country and enjoy it and go sightseeing, see some historical landmarks, meet wonderful people along the way, and just to have stories to tell, when I get older, if and when, I start a family. So with that being said, I kind of wanted to show you guys what is the process that I actually go through when it comes to planning and coordinating my trips. And one of the things that I do is I like to use AAA, the roadside assistance service. So the reason why I use AAA is, I don't know if you guys actually know, is that they have a service where, you can plan out your trips with them. So I've been keeping in contact with a gentleman that lives near me. His name is Phil, who's one of the representatives. And him and I have been planning trips for the past 2 years, going on 3 now. And we kind of just put our heads together of like where I would like to go in the USA. So what I typically do to make it as easy as possible for him is that I come up with the points of interest. I come up with, the places that I want to go, the sites that I want to see. I get recommendations from friends and family. And then I kind of compile it all into a list that I can show you guys. And that's how I go about it. Like, I hit places of interest, how long do I want it to be, how many miles, and just what routes I want to travel. So where Phil comes into play is that he actually plots these all out in a booklet for me. So I kind of take the booklet as a souvenir, a booklet that I can actually take notes in, like, just the weather, how it was for the day, the people that I've met, the stories that I kind of come up with in my head and just jot them down on the booklet. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like a souvenir that I get to have and use. The cool thing about the booklet is that with all the information that I give him of where I want to go and how I want to do it, Phil actually plots out all the points and exactly the route that I want to take in a physical copy. And the cool thing is it does a couple things for me. One, if there's ever a moment where I lose electronics, I can literally refer to the book and it shows me exactly where I need to go, right? It has an entire map, which is awesome. The other thing is that it allows me to know that, again, with losing technology, I plan out with a consideration of having a gas station every 120 miles. So I know where I need to fill up and where I need to stop at the very least, again, if I don't have any electronics. So I want to show you guys what it looks like. I'm heading there right now, which is why I'm in my car. You guys can probably hear that it's raining. And unfortunately, I can't show you guys the interaction that Phil and I have, just for the reasons that I think it's not permissible for AAA to have other people just go in there and record. So at the very least, he told me that I can record our audio. So what I'm going to do is record the audio, and I'm going to overlay it over just a video of me riding. So if you guys want to look at it, you are definitely more than welcome to. If not, that's okay. But I'm at least going to have a riding video of myself. And then you'll have the overlaid audio of what Phil and I talk about. So it's pretty exciting. I really, really enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to this cross-country trip. So please stay tuned as to what I do and what I kind of get into, because it's going to be for 17 days. And let's just say it's going to be over 6,000 miles. So I'm really looking forward to it. So just stay tuned. All right, cool. So at least going with the cross-country trip. So like I've mentioned before, you and I kind of get together in terms of just figuring out every single year, like what I plan on doing for my cross-country road trip. So I greatly appreciate the help. Because quite honestly, this wouldn't even be where it is now without you. So with that being said, so this year with my cross-country trip, I know that you have a copy of it too. So I'm planning on leaving April 10th to the 27th. And then what I want to do is, I already have it pre-mapped out, like the photo that I just showed you.
Yes.
So I'm planning on taking 2 weeks to 2.5 weeks. It's going to wind up being 17 days. And I'm going to spend, I haven't updated this just yet, but I think it's going to be 5 days out to California, 3 to 5 days out there, and then about 5 days back, right? Okay. So I was able to estimate it to being that 17 days and also being closer to 6,609 miles. So at the very least, I did originally plan to take Route 80 out to San Francisco and take Route 66 back, which is known as Interstate 40 now. But I kind of changed that up. So at the very least, if you can just check off these places where I have under places of interest, check off the places, because these are going to be the ones that I really want to go see. Okay. Right? So, and I'm going to bold them here too. So what I really want to go see is Yellowstone. I want to make sure to go to the Golden Gate Bridge. Pacific Coast Highway 1 is going to be it. I'm going to hit the Grand Canyon in Arizona, the Four Corner States in New Mexico. I'm going to hit, do you have an idea? Oh, so then what I'm going to do is also hit the Salt Flats in Utah, Joshua Tree, and hopefully take an Alcatraz tour as well. I'm going to hit the Redwood Forest, which, if memory serves me correct, is in fact in California. Yes. And then the other ones were just suggestions that people have made. What I do want to take into consideration, I know this isn't a point of interest yet, right? But for us to try and plan out, you see where it says under hitting the Four Corner States? Yes. Where it says National Parks, Museum, Historic Routes, Scenic Byways, I want that to be kind of just sprinkled in there of any places that we could possibly come up with, or places that you know, if there's scenic byways, just to take those as a route. So it's like, hey, instead of taking just the highway, the interstate, I can hit scenic byways from time to time. Exactly. So at least any questions on the places of interest? No, not at all. Those are all very general, good places of interest to go to. They're very popular. The scenic byways, there are a lot sprinkled in there. Yeah. What I plan on getting is, I forget the company. I think it's Boulder Maps or something like that. I think it's Boulder Maps. Or, something like that, where it's, I want to get a map, because the last time I took my trip, the first one that I ever took, I stopped, I think in West Virginia, and I had just passed the entrance on my way into West Virginia. I just passed the entrance in North Carolina, I think it was, to go to the Tail of the Dragon. Right. That's what it was called, the Tail of the Dragon, which actually, if you can, write that in at the bottom, Tail of the Dragon. It's going to be Tail of the Dragon, and that's in Robbinsville, North Carolina. I put a lot of people on that too. You did? Yeah. Okay, good. So that's Robbinsville, NC. But with that being said, I just missed it. And one of the scenic overlooks that I actually stopped at, I met a guy out there in West Virginia. He saw that I had Jersey plates. I saw he had Jersey plates. We both stopped on the side of the road because there was construction going on. And he just said, hey man, like after talking for a little bit, he showed me a map that he was using. He's like, do you want to just ride together for the last couple hours that's going to take us to get to New Jersey? Because he lives in South Jersey. I obviously live here in North Jersey. So we rode together for a good 7-8 hours through Gettysburg. And the cool thing about it is, one of the stops that we took in West Virginia, another gentleman came in on like an adventure bike and had a tank bag. So it's one that you literally just put on the tank, and it has a plastic cover over it that you can keep maps in. So he actually had an extra map of the Tail of the Dragon. So when I get into North Carolina, I know exactly what routes to take. So referencing Boulder Maps, I kind of want to buy a couple maps of just the states and say, hey, these are all the motorcycle routes, because it all focuses on just routes for motorcyclists, at least as far as I know. I'm sure anybody can wind up getting them, but it's just like, hey, if you're on a motorcycle and you're traveling through here, this is where you need to go. So I want to at least try and do that. But yeah, Tail of the Dragon is going to be another place that I definitely want to go to. Let's see. And then at the very least, for letting everyone else know, like what I plan on doing is I have a list of essentials that I want to take for myself, just for like production value. So I have a journal that what I do that I think is pretty interesting is that I didn't do it so much last trip with my cousin and my brother. The first trip that I took, every single day that I stopped somewhere, I journaled about who I interacted with, their names, where they work, and just kind of like, yeah, just about them, just to get to know them. And I journaled it, and I also did like video logs too of like the people that I met along the way. Yeah. And I have 2 weeks worth just backlogged of everybody that I met and all the adventures that I had while I was out there. So that's really cool. Then yeah, using GoPros, got 2 of them, a media mod, a waterproof case, extra mounts just in case. And I'm planning on buying a drone so I can at least have it follow me and create more content that way.
Nice.
And then I have a Polaroid camera. So I have this tidbit now that I do. It's a segment that I call You've Got Photobombed.
Yes.
So you're one of the first few people that actually know about this now. So basically the intention of it is to try and create more positivity in the community. So what I have is my Polaroid camera. I take a picture, like let's say if I park next to somebody that has a motorcycle, I'll take a really cool, authentic photo of their motorcycle. I will put on there a positive quote, the date, the time that I took it, and also my Instagram handle for the channel. And then at that point, I'll ask them to try and reach out to me. So I gift them a photo, but I also take a photo for my records, and I'll like take photos on my phone too. But when they reach out to me, the hope is to make a connection with them, like, hey, what got you into motorcycle riding?
Yeah.
So then I'll put at the bottom, like, hashtag you've been photobombed. Because they're not going to know. And it's just like, I think of it as, at the end of the day, if they don't reach out, it's just a kind gesture that I gave you a photo. Yeah, I gave you a photo of your motorcycle in my perspective with a positive quote. Right. So that's at least the intention with that. But so no questions so far, at least with the places of interest though.
No.
Okay. Do you recommend I bring anything else in terms of like just recording equipment?
That literally is everything I would bring.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely.
So then, so the directions. So here's the meat and potatoes of everything. So the first day of the trip, it's going to start. That's supposed to be April 10th yet. I think the 10th or the 11th actually.
You're still an hour close.
So I have to double check with that, but it's gonna be the 10th or the 11th, and I'm gonna leave at 5 a.m., get on the road by 6, and I'm traveling to Toledo, Ohio. And the cool thing about it is I'm gonna try and attend a Jeff Dunham show. It's called Still Not Canceled, and that's in the Huntington Center in Toledo. So I already have the tickets planned out, and the trip is gonna be about 7 hours and 51 minutes, plus, you know, give or take 2 to 4 hours with stops. The other thing, actually, before we even get more into the directions, is if you can jot down there, to do what we typically do is just every 120 miles to plan a gas station just in case. Right. And another thing to add there is if you can find out in the states that I'm staying at, what is the nearest Harley-Davidson service center? So God forbid something happens with my bike, I can at least get it taken care of and I know where they are. So the second day, leave Toledo, Ohio and head to Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's gonna be about 9 hours and 31 minutes. Then the third day is leave from Minneapolis and head to Fargo, North Dakota. Spend the night there. That's gonna be about 3 hours and 23 minutes, which is nice. Fourth day, leave from Fargo to Forsyth, Minnesota, 7 hours and 14 minutes. And then the fifth day is leave from Forsyth, Minnesota to Twin Falls, Idaho. And my goal is to travel through Yellowstone. So if you can you underline that for me? Because that's going to definitely be a big focus for me to at least travel through Yellowstone. And yeah, that's going to be 11 hours and 7 minutes. Who knows? Maybe I might stay in Yellowstone for the night.
Yeah.
So I'll try and look for lodging at the very least while I'm out there. Let me note that. Look for lodging just in case. Then from there, so from Twin Falls, Idaho, my original plan was to head to San Francisco and go through the Golden Gate Bridge. Considering how I've mapped out my trip, this is going to be the closest that I'm ever going to be to the Bonneville Salt Flats in Salt Lake City. So if we can put there as a note, plan to go to the Salt Flats. And if it takes me a little bit longer, it takes me a little bit longer.
The reason you're going to receive your cards is you're on the
Salt
or to get the regular.
Flats in Utah.
You want to have the plastic? You want to get the plastic card?
Yeah, because that's literally going to be the closest I'm going to be. Because other than that, I'd have to go down through Arizona and then cut all the way back up, which is 11 hours just to get there.
True.
And then, are you okay for me to go on?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so then day 7 is either give or take getting to San Francisco or leaving from there. At the very least, I want to travel through the Golden Gate Bridge. So if we can get a route to the Golden Gate, through the Golden Gate Bridge, I should say, that should be helpful. So leave San Francisco and start traveling down Pacific Coast Highway 1. So
Now,
that's
the
where
Pacific Coast Highway right now is under construction.
it is.
Yes. So on the trip today, it only could go on roads that are open,
Okay.
obviously.
Yeah.
But the Pacific Coast Highway right now, you can't go straight down
Really?
anymore. I think you can get as far as like Hearst Castle or something, and then it makes you come back up and go all the way around.
Huh.
Let me see if it's still doing it. It started a while ago. I think like last year something happened on it.
Mhm.
I don't want to speculate as to what,
Yeah.
but now they're doing this major like redo of the highway.
Okay.
So it's something to be warned
Definitely
about.
something to consider about.
Yeah, it's still doing it. When I try to move it onto the road, it quickly takes you back out to 101, which is a little further out, but it's not Route 5.
Yeah.
It's still considered a scenic highway, but it's not along the coast.
So you can't even, like, as I guess like quote unquote alternate route, you can't even alternate route it through the construction zone. Like it won't let you do that at all.
No.
Okay. So
You
then
can
that'll
get
just
on the Pacific Coast Highway itself, you can get all the way past Big Sur, and then at some point it's going to stop you. Everything's going to be blocked. You got to turn around and go back because there's no way to cut across.
really
Yeah.
okay. So I guess for content purposes,
Yes.
I'll go down it a little bit and I'll just double back around.
Yeah, that would probably, like, even if you go, this might be something to suggest. When you're coming down, you go up and around Old Monterey.
So ironically enough, I'm stopping in Monterey. So I'm going to take about 3 days to go down PC1.
Right.
So is Big Sur after or before Old Monterey?
After.
Okay, so I at least have some space
Yes.
to travel down. So Old Monterey is, I guess, still near Monterey. It's like just a part of Monterey. That just
Yeah,
called
it's
Old.
right there.
Okay.
And it's by Old Fisherman's Wharf.
Okay. So then at that point, I'm stopping in Monterey. So from San Francisco to Monterey is about 2 hours and 32 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So then I need to write here when I stop there. Road is going to be closed off near Big Sur, it's called?
Yes.
S-U-R.
S-U-R, Big Sur. Now,
And then I'll plan for alternate route. Yeah, I would have never known that. Hopefully it's done by this time in April, but
yeah, and I know you have your everything timed out and everything, but in the Monterey area by Carmel, there's something called the Scenic 17-mile drive. Have you heard of it?
no.
It's a scenic road. It goes through Pebble Beach and Pacific Grove on the Monterey Peninsula.
Scenic?
You pass famous golf courses, mansions, scenic attractions, Lone Cypress. It's all in the Monterey area. So if you want to, that could be your little Pacific Coast scenic area before you cut back out.
So it's called Scenic 17 Mile.
It's just called the 17-mile drive in Monterey.
17-mile drive, Monterey.
Lone Cypress, Bird Rock, and 5,300-acre Del Monte Forest.
Is there a way to plan it with that being an alternate route and then having the primary route, or do you have to just plan it through one of those two routes?
I could do both, it's fine.
If it's okay with
Yeah,
you, yeah.
definitely.
Just so I know, hey, if they're still closed down, I'm going to at least try and go through Monterey, since you said this is in Monterey, right? Or near
Yes,
it?
it's in that
Okay.
area, exactly.
So at the very least, when I'm in Monterey, since I'm planning on spending the day there, I can just hop back on my bike, take that 17-mile drive, and then come back.
Right, I could make an additional book, triptych book, of just the 17-mile drive.
Yeah,
because it's a separate thing. So you don't have to get multiple huge books of triptychs.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, I'll do it as like a little side quest.
Yeah, I like that. Side quest, I like it. All right, cool. So then that's in Monterey. So
Yeah.
then at least with day 8, I'm going to leave Monterey, California, and head towards Los Angeles. The goal is to hit Santa Monica Beach. Since I like working out and stuff like that, I guess it's like a place to go to Muscle Beach, and just hang out in the local area. And then I'm also going to plan on hitting Hollywood at some point, just to go down the Strip. From what I heard, Hollywood is not grandiose as the TV portrays it. It's not the greatest thing, but I think it's just going to be, I'm going to travel through there. Yeah, I'm just going to travel through there just to travel through there. That's all it is. And at the very least, where you see that break in the paragraph is that I'm going to call Monterey Harley to do an inspection on my bike for the 18th. And then I'm going to try and do an entire engine, transmission, and oil change for myself, because that's roughly going to be, with the miles that I already put on now, I'm going to basically be at my point of having to change all the oil and stuff like that.
Nice.
But at least they can do an inspection and let me know if there's anything that I need to get done. And if I need to stay a couple days out there, stay a couple days out there. Yeah, a couple days in California, I don't think that would be bad.
That's not bad.
So at least anything else to consider for that first half of the trip? Anything else do we want to add, or?
No, honestly, that's perfect. And if you can get to the salt flats, I've always heard great things about that. Plus, if you can work in that 17-mile drive, I think you'd like. I've heard nothing but amazing things about it.
Okay. When I come back, I'm gonna purposely do it. So when I come back, I have something to show you. I'm gonna have at least with the salt flats, from what I heard, I've seen once that on Instagram somebody had a reel where it was actually flooded at one point.
Oh.
And they were able to walk on it. It was like probably 2 inches of water, but the entire flat was flooded. So I want to see like if I can get that opportunity, if it winds up raining there. But if not, if you can, in near the area, can you find a self-service car wash? Because from what I hear, again, since it's salt, people highly recommend that you wash your vehicle the day of, if not the day later, because it will completely corrode everything.
Yes.
So at the very least, I would like to see if we can plan a place, just a self-service car wash, so I can do it all. But now going into the second half of the trip, so day 9, during the day, I'm going to make a trip out to Joshua Tree because I'm going to be in Los Angeles. That's going to be about 3 hours. I'm going to stay another night because I'm hoping that my friend is going to call his grandparents so I can spend the night there with them.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to actually attend another comedy show with Gabriel Iglesias. So he's going to be there in Anaheim, California. So I'm going to try and go watch that. Again, planned out where I'm going to sit, how much it's going to cost, and everything like that. Then day 10, I'm going to leave Los Angeles and head towards the Grand Canyon. I definitely need to check what the weather is going to be in the local radio station, because I know from like another YouTube channel that I've seen, Throttle House, they do car reviews, and with that, I think they stayed in the Grand Canyon once, but they got a weather advisory that it was supposed to rain and flood at the bottom of the canyon. Obviously, I'm going to be on a bike. I don't want it to flood.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want to become a statistic at this point. So,
too many people in the
Yeah.
Grand Canyon. Yeah, you don't want to.
So I'm going to try and find the local radio station at the very least, but plan on camping there. If not, I'll definitely call them. I'm going to try and camp around the area. I'm going to try and at least go down into the canyon and then come back out.
Sure.
Because I know at least with these guys in Throttle House, they were there, they were set up for camping, and then at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, they got a weather advisory on the radio and had to pack up all their stuff in like 30 minutes and leave.
Because it comes down fast.
Yeah.
And it builds up fast.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. So then, head to the Grand Canyon, camp there overnight under the stars, and I'm planning on riding up through Las Vegas. So when I leave there, actually, no, on the way to the Grand Canyon, I want to try and travel through Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care that it's not at nighttime. I know a lot of people say, hey, to go down the Strip, it is probably the best to do at nighttime.
The lights are amazing, but we have Atlantic City too.
That's true. That's true. I just, again, for me, I'm not the biggest gambler too, so it's not going to be the biggest attraction for me. It's more of that I just want to go there just for the sake of going
And
there.
a lot of people do make that ride at night, and they go annoyingly slow, and they yell and scream, and you have people on the sidewalks drunk and running out.
Yep.
So daytime is fine.
Probably less of a headache then.
Less of a headache.
And I'm going to come back down towards the Grand Canyon, and I need to check to see what campsites are there, what the weather is going to be like. Yeah, maybe sleep in the canyon or not. Day 11, I'm going to head out from the Grand Canyon to Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh,
So since we were talking before about stories, at least obviously it being one of the most profound sites that's ever had like anything to do with aliens. Just gonna go there. I know there's a couple museums around there having to do with aliens, so I'm gonna try and hit one of those. And this is the intention with filming some of the wildlife out there, because it's a really good area to have some footage of wildlife near a place called Bitter Lake, and then get some footage of like the alien exhibits.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
And the good stories come back with them.
Oh, absolutely. I will. And then day 12, I'm going to leave Roswell and head to Oklahoma City in Oklahoma, spend the night there. And then day 13, from OKC, I'm going to head to Nashville. So I was there 2 years ago, and unfortunately, since I didn't know the place, what it was called. Everyone told me like, oh, if you go to Nashville, like you got to go to this place, you got to go to this place. And I was like trying to remember, it's like, what's a famous place to go to? And it was Broadway, just to go down Broadway. So I was looking for it, and I got there probably at like 11:30 at night, maybe 12. So I'm doing a bunch of research, like where there are places to go as I'm here. And I finally came across Broadway. And by the time I got there, because I was about 15, 20 minutes away, by the time I got there, it was already 2 o'clock in the morning, and the bars were closing at 2:30.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not about to pay to go to a bar for only half an hour. So what I did was I was at the top of Broadway, took a picture of the entire place. I actually have a picture of my motorcycle in front of Jason Aldean's bar.
Nice.
So I was able to take a nice photo with that. Then I just went to a local bar and just started playing pool and just started talking to people and make friends that way. But at least I'm going to try and go to Nashville to actually, experience Broadway and actually get there a little bit sooner. Fun fact, I also went there and started falling in love with country music. I used to hate country music before that, but I went to
Me, there's a certain type that I like.
yeah,
It's the older one.
yeah,
The older
I hear you.
country. The new country it's too infused with rock, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Not that I'm saying it's bad, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, understandable. It's
Friends in Low
understandable.
Places is my favorite song. Like a whole bunch of the old school songs I kind of dig.
Okay. I know I went to the Country Music Hall of Fame when I was out there, and just to see that gave me a whole new appreciation for people like Johnny Cash. So it's definitely nice to get to see that. And then, yeah, hang out there for the night. And let's see, I'm going to head out from Nashville. It's going to be a little bit later of a day, and then head over to Robbinsville, North Carolina. So the goal with that is I'm hoping that my family can take off for the weekend, so they can meet me at the tail of the dragon, so we can all ride through there. Because there's the tail of the dragon, and then there's also another place called the back end of the dragon that most people don't know about. So if we can plan for those, please.
I have to see if the back end. I'll find it.
Okay. So the goal is to go through there, but as I'm getting out of Tennessee, I want to try and cut through the Smoky Mountains.
Oh.
There was a route that I planned that hit the outside of the Smoky Mountains, so at least I still count that.
Still works. Still counts. Yes.
So I'll hit the Smoky Mountains going through there, and then hit the back end of the dragon potentially on the way up. Stay at one of the infamous mansions that are there, because I know there's one there. And then the next day on the way out, hit the tail of the dragon with my family. And just, creating content from there. And then I'll try and do some recording of the history of the place and what it has to offer.
Nice.
And then from day 15, leave Robbinsville, hopefully with my family, head to Falling Water, West Virginia. And then day 16, leave from Falling Water, West Virginia to head back home. And I want us to pass through Gettysburg just for the sake of history. So this gives me kind of a day to work with right now.
Right.
So I only have 16 days. But I think I have only 15 days because I originally planned my trip for the 10th of April. So I might try and do that beforehand, but that's not going to change how we plan out our routes and everything, not that I know of. Yeah, so since I have like a day or two to work with, I also have an alternate route that I might take. I have family in Orlando, Florida. That I might from, and this could be more responsibility on me. You don't have to plan this. I'm just airing it out. Is that when I leave,
I can fix it on my end.
I might do this from when I leave Oklahoma.
Okay.
I might leave from Oklahoma and start heading down, probably towards like Louisiana and Alabama, and cut across and go to Orlando to go visit family, and then I'll just cut up from there and then go into Robbinsville, North Carolina.
Gotcha.
But I still have to square that away with them, so I might just skip on Nashville completely and just go visit family.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, is there any other places that? Well, actually, first, do you have any questions about this?
No. I like it.
Awesome. And then, do you have any other places that you would recommend that you've seen? Or, like places on the way to different locations? If there's any sites that you'd recommend?
Not that I'm seeing right now, because you literally pretty much hit everything that I've seen or heard, suggestion-wise. I was glad that I was able to tell you about the 17-mile drive.
Yes. I'm actually excited about that one.
Yes, and especially with the scenic sprinkled in.
Yeah.
I think you're hitting a lot of it, honestly.
Okay.
If I find anything else, I will either sprinkle it in or just let you know.
Yeah, please. I don't know if there's anything else, because we hit the considerations of 120 miles for gas stations, and then putting, I should say, planning for nearest HD dealerships, just in case I get a flat tire or anything like that. What else did we do for considerations last time? I think it was that. Yeah, the booklet, obviously, which I greatly appreciate you doing.
Yeah, you get the triptych. I'll email it to you, as well as hand you an actual book.
Yeah.
So you have it in digital form and regular.
So if you can, this just crossed my memory. I do have one other person joining me.
Okay.
So last year, where I had my brother and my cousin, I have a friend of mine. What the intention was is that every other year I go by myself. So the first year was by myself. Last year was with my brother and my cousin. This year was intended to be by myself. But I have a friend who's actually never done this before, like traveled across the country. So I want him to come with me.
Nice.
So if we can plan out a second booklet for him,
You got
okay. You don't have to have the. Actually, yeah, just have a second booklet for him, and I don't know if there's anything else. No, because then we kind of just experience everything as we're going along. It's just a nice souvenir to have, quite honestly. I still have all the books. It's all in very good condition,
so
too.
awesome.
Like, I have all of them.
I have your one from last year saved still.
Oh my God, thank you.
And it has the one with the gas stations.
Yeah, okay. And then along the way, since I know, at least verbally going over it, I kind of skewed away from the intention of hitting Route 66.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a way that at moments you could put it through Route 66 as best as possible, if not, that's completely okay.
No problem.
Or Interstate 40, I should say now. Yeah, Interstate 40.
No problem. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Do you need anything else from me?
No, I do not. Now, I have to see, because right now we're in that time of year where Yellowstone is closed.
They close?
Yes,
What?
their season. And the triptych only goes when roads are open, as we said with the Pacific Coast Highway.
Yeah.
I have to find out when it opens, because right now it's taking me around Yellowstone, not through. That's what I was just checking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to open soon. I mean, we're getting into the time now.
Yeah.
It does.
I mean, I will say I came to you a lot sooner this year. I think like last year I waited like 2 weeks in advance, so it being like 6 weeks. So even if we want to hold off on just having the entire booklet done, you can literally give it to me the week of.
Yeah.
Just to see if it opens up, just to track it.
Okay, that's Old Faithful, not...
Oh, the geyser?
Well, I said, when does Yellowstone open? And it says opens April 26th. I'm like, no, that's Old Faithful.
Ah, okay.
7-1.
Yellowstone National Park. Few facilities are open year round and services are limited. I'm sure it'll be open in a few weeks where I can put the trip tick through.
Cool.
But you would still charge.
It says few facilities are open year round and are limited from early November through late April.
Got it. Okay.
So it's gonna be open.
Okay.
They should be, I think, sometime in March.
Okay.
Should be able. But I can have this trip done quickly.
Awesome.
As long as I get everything else plotted,
Yeah.
I could insert that the last minute.
Yeah.
Just print it all out.
And if there's any other places like we've done in the past, just give me a call. Like if hey, you know, I saw that this place is good.
Yeah.
Like, would you like to go through it? Then yeah. And then also, I guess at just different moments, even in California with the 17-mile road or drive, 17-mile drive, if there's like those scenic byways to go through as well. But yeah, other than that, I don't think there's anything else.
I think we got a trip.
Yeah.